Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're watching this. Got a few bits and pieces to do over the next couple of days, so the next 3 days, so I'm going to get as much of it on video as I can. Got to go and look at a couple of roofs. One's had the spray foam removed, so I just wanted to check that the roof structure's okay and that the roof covering's okay, because the roof had to come off to have the spray foam removed. I've also been asked to look at a wobbly gable wall on another property that's had the roof removed, or the roof covering removed, to get the spray foam out. Got an expert witness instruction, which I won't get any of that on video, but on our way back from that, we're going to pop into a new fire claim we've been instructed on quite a big building, so I'm told. Haven't seen it yet, so I'll get a bit of early stuff on that on video. We've then got it lined up to go back to that property with 4 of us to measure up. So 2 of us will do a full measured survey and 2 of us will be on the Matterport doing a full scan. I think it's going to be quite a dangerous house or property, so that's why we're going to work in pairs on that one. I've then got to do a site visit up in North Wales, and I've got to do a roof inspection in Manchester. So it's going to be a lot of travel over the next few days, all over the place. So come along, join me, ask any questions, and we'll catch up through the video. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've arrived down at the first property, and this has had the roof taken off to enable the spray foam to be taken out of the roof because it was stuck like the proverbial to the underside of the sarking felt. So it's a truss rafter roof, Fink trusses, and as they've replayed the underlay to the roof, they've put on a new breathable underlay. Bits of foam left in the property, which is always going to happen when you're taking this horrible stuff out. And just checking the underlay here just to make sure it's laid the right way around, reasonable amount of laps, stuff like that. So like I say, these are Fink trusses. In between the trusses at low level, we've got 100mm of insulation. This could be upgraded for sure. Maybe I'll put another 8 inches or so, another 200mm over the top, and that's all that roof needs. Did notice this, just as a matter to point it out, that the restraint ties to the gable wall should really have full depth noggins beneath them. Onto next, we're looking at this wall roof's been replaced and recovered at the moment due to the spray foam, but the contractors reported a bit of a wobbly wall. Now, it's only the inside block work that's wobbly. The outside is not too bad. There is an absolute lack of wall ties in this property. I say lack, it's not a lack, there's just not as many as we'd like to see. So we've got cavities there, you go of about 65mm. There's a wall tie down there. And there are some kicking about, but when a cavity wall's closed, they should really be at 225 centres around any termination of the cavity wall, whether that's around a window or a gable. But here there was an absolute lack of them. So insulating block to the inside, uninsulated cavity here as well. The outside of this wall was brought to our attention because over 4 foot or so, the upper 4 foot of the wall, we're about 65mm out of plumb. The contractor was actually worried about how out of plumb the wall was, and it's certainly not ideal, so we've recommended this to be tied back to the inner block work and in turn back to the trusses with suitable ties. It's as it was built, it's not an issue that's happened since, it's just pretty poor quality original construction. So next call of the day is to a new fire claim. First time we've been there, so well, I'll video it as we walk through the door because the property is empty now. You'll probably see why. I've seen photos, but I've not actually seen it in person. So walking up the driveway, this is what we're greeted with. Entire roof has gone, whole property. It's a substantial building, probably in excess of 300 or 400 square metres. The entire roof's gone. So we'll get some video inside and see what we can see. The dining area, we've got water pouring through the building, which suggests that the water mains hasn't been turned off. I'll see if I can find that and do that today. Not that it's going to create much more damage, it's just save water really. The building structure is in a pretty poor condition. We can see in here, if you see flashes, that's Charlie taking photos. But we've got extensive char into the first floor joist, so we'll need to do an assessment of that to see if it's sound and whether we can walk around upstairs. So viewing that from the underside, we can see that the floor joists are completely charred throughout, but these actually aren't too bad. Now, when I say too bad, we've got to replace them. They're certainly not acceptable to keep. But in terms of doing a measured survey, I don't have an issue with standing on these. But when we just come around to the other side of the room, we can see where the floor joists have burnt pretty much the whole way through. So I need to work out where this room is in relation to upstairs, as to where we can actually walk and where it's going to be too dangerous to. So I need to venture upstairs. Again, the first thing to do is assess what we're working with. Now, there's clearly been fire in the hall because we've got charring to the timbers and joinery down here. But can I get up the stairs? Now, ultimately I do need to get up the stairs because we're going to need to measure up here somehow. But what damage is it in? What condition is it in? A bit of charring around the door frame, but the structure here looks reasonably sound. Now, pull that bit of plaster off, lime render, and that's okay. So if that's not burnt, the stair structure isn't burnt. So let's have a look underneath the stairs, and our ceiling is absolutely fine, and a little bit of localized plaster damage here, which is probably from the fact that there is now no roof on the property. So I consider the staircase to be structurally okay for me to go up. It's going to need to be replaced, obviously, because of the extensive damage, but in terms of the here and now and doing an inspection, it's okay. So we've just tiptoed over the area where the fire damage was downstairs and those joists are burnt through. This is our main corridor, so our dodgy floor joists are, well, we can see them, they're there. So we're being super careful, one at a time. It takes my weight, it will take the other guy's weight. So we're just staying close to the walls so we can work our way around through the building. We're past it now, but this is one of the damaged bedrooms. Okay, so that was last week. We've had a long bank holiday weekend since, and back at the property today to do a full measured up. We'll do a full 3D scan and a full measured survey as well, inside and out. But between last week and today, it's only Friday, as a working day, and Saturday, someone's come and boarded up. So I've got a few guys meeting me here, so I've asked them if they've got any floodlights and torches and stuff, because daylight inside was okay, but it's going to be pitch black now. So I'm an hour ahead of them. I shall make a start measuring up the outside. I don't think this is the most fun thing to watch, but just demonstrating how we go through a measured survey. That's a bit too much to do the inside because of the dark conditions on the ground floor. Upstairs wasn't too bad, but it's actually quite dangerous because you've got bits of the roof still flapping about over your head that could fall in any minute. A lot of rubbish on the floor. So in some rooms you're stood maybe 2 foot above the floor finish on all the rubble and the crap that's in there. So outside we are measuring up each elevation. The windows have been boarded up, but some of them have been boarded up inside the reveal, so we can still see how big the window opening is. Now, many years ago, before modern technology, we used to measure up by hand. So like these photos here, this is an old pub we did years ago in Suffolk. You'd want to sketch the elevation as accurately as you could to measure it up. But now we just take a photo, import that into Notability on the iPad, and there we go. We just scribble all our dimensions straight onto the photo. It's a much better way of doing it for us. We can see all the details there. We don't have to sketch anything because it's all on the photo, and then we can just pop our measurements in as and where they're required. So we measure from, this is quite a reasonably flat ground, but we've got this painted banding course around the bottom at DPC level, so we're taking all our dimensions off that to the various elements of the window heights, the sill heights, the depths of the sills and all that kind of thing. So we do our layout plans first, and then when we're doing the elevation drawings, we import all this information onto the elevations, which gives us a full measured survey of the whole property. Probably a bit backward when you compare it to land surveyors, but we're not land surveyors. We don't have a total station. So it's a traditional kind of architectural or building surveyors way of measuring up a property. So do most of our measure surveys with one of these. It's a Disto X3. I had to look at the screen to see what it was called. Lovely bit of kit, but what I do find frustrating is if you do a measurement, take away another measurement, equals, and it leaves it up, and then you do another measurement, it constantly takes it away, so you have to constantly clear each time. But It is a pretty good bit of kit and certainly wouldn't be without it. These digital tape measures have been around about 25 years now, but sometimes you can't beat a good old-fashioned tape measure. For small dimensions and for check dimensioning, sometimes it's better. You can see that in direct sunlight. You can't always see the disto in direct sunlight. So on my way to North Wales, just come up the M1, M6, M54, so about to join the A5, just at Telford services at the moment. So my first drop off today is to look at the construction work on site of an impact claim. We do some impact claims. They're not as common as fires, floods, escapes of water, but this is where a pickup truck decided to drive into someone's living room at about 40 miles an hour. So I'll pick up in a moment when I get there. Bit difficult to see so up close inside the scaffolding, but here's the front of the original bay, and we can just about see here the outline of the original bay, and the front door is through here. And the car decided to park, or the truck chassis decided to park itself in the living room, having come off the main road behind me. Big van going by. So get up the scaffolding and have a look, see what's been done up there. Here's some of the displaced brickwork from the accident. So we can see here this is displaced 20-25 mil or so, similar kind of the other way, and it's caused a bit of an outward lean on this section of wall where it's bowed over. A very weird cavity, which I'll try and show you from upstairs. Although we've got a chunk of the corner of the cavity open here, it's this bit of brickwork here that's taken the roof loadings from the rafters and that above. So it looks quite dramatic, but still structurally stable, which is the important thing. View of the works from the scaffolding. So this is where the top of the bay window would have been, and they've had to take down the gable wall because it was all structurally unstable, and the bricks, old imperial sized bricks, all up on the scaffolding. So a lot of these will be rebuilt. So North Wales in this property. So we've got some of the very thick, lovely old Welsh slate. If you've ever been to the Norwich power station in North Wales, built out at Llanberis, they've got all the slate mines that are around the power station, and they big heaps where they built the power station actually in the mountainside. So this is rock, basically rock that's excavated, split, and then shaped up into slate. Got a lead valley running up here, some smaller slates. The ridge is missing for some reason, don't know why. It wasn't missing last time I came over. Corbel detail at the front, and this outer rig of brickwork, and up here we have our stonework, of which there's a stone capping there that sits on top of this wall, and then we've got soakers and flashing detail that follows up the wall. Over this property we've got a temporary roof. It's called a tin hat for one good reason. It's profile tin sheeting. There is a preference now, or is that a preference? More and more scaffolders are putting these perspex plastic sheets over roofs when we ask for full tin hats like these. They just don't last, 4 or 5 months, and they're starting to deteriorate and fall apart. But at least with the profiled steel, it's still in position months and months later. Okay, that's my site visit done here in Wales. So now I'm going to back in the car up the A5-ish. I think it's up the A5 up to Manchester. Okay, so got to Manchester. I've got to look at some roof issues on a client's property. It's important to do your background research. So being up north for a southerner, I watched all of Cold Feet, listened to a bit of James, Elbow and Oasis on the way. So think I'm fully up to speed. So let's see what work's been done and see what issues we've got. So up on a rooftop in Manchester. I was back here in January, and there was quite a few issues that needed to be resolved. This was one of them. The ridge board was visible, and you can see just at the bottom there is a bit of flash band, and they popped a new terracotta bridge tile on there. These flashes I think are original. Someone's done some pretty poorly executed repairs at the bottom, and then this gutter was also blocked, which has now been repaired. It's Still got buddleia weed growth coming out the roof, which is far from ideal. Stuff grows everywhere. So this roof has just had a top coat of an acropole type substance applied to it. It's not going to really do a lot, it's just going to perhaps extend the life of it ever so slightly. We've got penetrating damp through the stack downstairs, which nothing's been done to repair that. They have not repaired any of the flashings at all. These are all just pulling away from the wall with big gaps down the back of the flashings as well. So it's far from ideal. Quite often you get buddleia, but here we've got what I think is a silver birch tree growing out of the parapet. And then there's loads of ferns and lichen and buddleias growing out of the main building. It's all in pretty poor condition. Here we got more undergrowth. Not sure what this is, but this is a broadleaf plant that's grown out of the wall, all being fed by, well, up there is our original parapet gutter downpipe arrangement, but they put an underslung one, which I'll show you indoors in a minute if I remember. Not even connected. It's no wonder this property is absolutely saturated. Issues with the flashings at low level, and the flashings are, well, they're flashings, but they're onto a solid wall, so you're never going to prevent penetrating damp going around the back of the flashings. It's not like a cavity or anything like that. And here we go, is one of our buddleias growing out of the wall. This stuff grows absolutely everywhere. Look on any railway bridge in the UK and you'll see buddleias growing out of it. So while I was up in Manchester, a client phoned me up and said, "Oh, you're in Manchester this week. Could you nip over to Sheffield to look at a problem we got on a property?" So I pitched up at this house. I knew it was a spray foam installation because that's the part of the contract we're working on at the moment. But this is absolutely horrendous. The gentleman's had a penetrating damp issue through his roof. No fault of the spray foam per se, but once it's got into the roof structure, it's had nowhere to go. So it's just rotted out the rafters and the tile battens until they've rotted right the way through, as you can see in these pictures here in this video. And only then has it started dripping through to the property. So we've got 4 or 5 rafters that are gone and just need to be replaced. Okay, that last one was a bit interesting. Spray foam in between the rafters, complete no-no in our view, as you probably know if you've seen our other videos. The rot wasn't caused by the source of the moisture for the rot wasn't caused by the spray foam. It was a leak through the tiles. They sprayed directly onto the underside of the tiles, which according to the new HSE document is it puts it at higher risk. So once that water's coming in, it then can't come straight through the structure. If the spray foam wasn't there, the guy would have noticed water ingress straight away. So the foam has held that water in position, caused the rafters to rot right the way through. So the only way to repair that now is to get the solar panels off the roof, strip the roof, replace the get all the spray foam out and replace the rafters and start again. So interesting one. Everything in this is interesting. I thoroughly enjoy what I do. We do see such a big variety. It's absolutely amazing. So once again, thank you for getting this far. I hope you enjoy what we're doing. If you do, please like and subscribe. That'd be bloody marvellous. And I shall catch you in the next one. Thank you.